I mean, I never took like a synthesis class or anything like that, so it's just kind of, once you figure it out, you know, you just get it. But so yeah, I definitely like to focus on certain sounds, and I'm like going into a song, I'm like, I know I'm going to use these sounds. You know?
Right. Do you have a preferred DAW or program?
You know, I don't think it's that important. You know, it's a super common question. You know, pretty much every club night, you know, or whatever, like someone would be like, oh, what do you use to produce? And it's like, I mean, I'll tell you, I use, it's actually pretty surprising to a lot of people, I use Sony Acid. That's what I begin tracks with. But it's mainly because I've been producing for a long time, and I started with Sony Acid 1. Well, back then it was Sonic Foundry. It was not owned by Sony. And I mean, I had even been producing before that. I used to use mod trackers. I used to use Rebirth and all this stuff. I used to use old versions of Cakewalk and Cool Edit Pro and all this stuff. But Acid was the first one that really started to click, and like it's super easy for me to lay out percussion and just general song arrangement, and I've just stuck with that the whole way through. And a lot of times I'll finish writing a track in Acid and bounce stems into like Ableton or Cubase or something like that, but to do some final post-production. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, because they all do the same thing in different ways, and it's all about like finding what you're comfortable with.
Right. So it seemed with the transformation into Kastle, or the addition of Kastle, you took on several hats. Starting a label and doing all of that, and managing. Tell me a bit about your label. What's it called? What you did? How do you define it, or how do you not define it?
The label that I run is Symbols Recordings. We just launched in June, and when I say we, it's basically me and my girlfriend Joyce Sue is the art director, basically I created the label. I had been thinking about creating a label for probably a year and a half, and Symbols itself was conceptualized over about half a year. It was when I went on tour with 12 Planet earlier this year that whole time I was like working on that label. Yeah, so we launched in June. The basic premise of it is, I don't know, I was finding it hard to sign my tracks to labels that were really super excited about my music, and I didn't feel like they didn't really get it. And that's cool, like, because I realize I write just different stuff, and you know, whether it's good or not, I don't know. But so I just decided to like, and I had other friends like Jason Burns and Cosmic Revenge and all these guys that were kind of doing not music like me, but hard to describe, like hard to fit with other people. So some of the earliest releases, and like Sleepyhead, like his EP is just super out there, weird, but amazing. And so I guess like our thing is just like stuff that doesn't fit anywhere else.
That's great.
Yeah, we're just very big on the visual and auditory, like the aesthetic, and it's really I sign stuff that the first time I hear it. I mean, I think everybody's familiar with that when you hear a song, you just get that feeling, just like, oh my god, I love this. Like, if I don't get that feeling, I can't put it out.
Yeah, I noticed with a lot of the releases and with your stuff, there's a huge focus on the human element, and you know, you hear vocal, whether it's remix or I think maybe yours. Do you put your own voice ever in there?
No, I might on my album. I'm working on it. It'll probably be super auto-tuned, but
so with the remix topic at hand and sampling and where all that comes into play, what are your thoughts, you know, morally and emotionally, physically, however you look at it, when you're approaching sampling and the whole shebang?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, anybody who's listened to my music knows that I've sampled a lot. It's something I'm actually trying to get away from, but I also don't discourage it. I think in the current age, it's a big gray area, and it comes down to the fact that there's so much music out there, so many people sampling that. I mean, it's just impossible for the original songwriter to like actually crack down. I think once something gets a certain recognition, then they might take notice, and like and it also, if you're making money from it, obviously, that could be a problem. But I think the thing moving forward for me, and why I'm trying not to sample, I mean, I'll probably still do it occasionally, but I'm trying to do less of it because it kind of limits your options. Because of the fact, like, if it blows up so big, then eventually it'll get taken down, and then it's like you put in that hard work for nothing, you know? So I'm trying to think of it as, well, I like spent all this time writing it, I want the limit to be limitless. I don't want a limit, so that's why I'm trying not to sample. But I don't know, I mean, you can get inspired so much by just a simple sample, and it takes your song in this new direction it never would have, so I'm for it.
So, Symbols, the label, you have to wonder about the name, where it comes from. What's the inspiration for it? What's the meaning?
I'm very big into symbolism. Basically, I was spending a lot of time coming up with the name, and I was just struggling, and I was actually reading. I have a lot of I like to study symbolism and philosophy and all this stuff, and I was reading my books on symbols and looking for it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll choose some symbol, but then I just realized that that's like the actual, just the idea of a symbol is what I wanted, But yeah, I mean, I hope to, the way that I hope to let it grow, I want the music to be a symbol for things. I want the videos that we do to be a symbol, and just the overall vibe, you know what I mean? So.
It seems as though the visual also connected to the music is really symbolic. Where does the visual come from, the inspiration, the creation? Who's behind all of that?
Well, as I said earlier, my girlfriend Joy Sue is the art director. Super talented, obviously slightly biased in that comment, but she really is. She really is. She got behind all the branding, and it's been great. I think there's a lot of people who are actually they look forward to the artwork more than the music sometimes. And basically what we've been doing is every 3 releases, we alternate the theme of the artwork. Like, we had a surreal series. The latest series is very symmetrical and kind of like mirrored. So yeah, lots of just, she also gains inspiration from the music as well, because of course I'll send her the music, she listens to it, and then just kind of vibes out on that. So
the social networking side of everything, it seems like you have a really good hold on that. Mm-hmm. As an A&R and a label head, how do you feel when you are giving away something? When you're giving something away for free, it's a product, unfortunately, but it's also something you want everybody to hear. Do you favor that way of promoting music?
I do, and I mean, it's just this day and age. I mean, after like the blog era, like 2008, 2009, it just became very common to get things for free, and I think people expect it, and that's fine. Like, I think a lot of the releases we've given out free tracks through like Accelerator. We've done our own like SoundCloud promotions. I'm actually moving forward because I have a lot of music that's really amazing, and we started releasing every 2 weeks, and it's just been kind of crazy because we have so much music. And that's why like we were cool with like giving a track or 2 out for free, But it's funny, I put out an EP by these guys, We Sync, from Athens, Greece, and they literally just sent me like 2 tracks, and they're like, here, we want you to give these out for free, and I'm like, okay, great. And I've got other things, I've got like a Druid Cloak did a XX remix, which is amazing, that's coming soon. So there's gonna be a lot more free stuff, and we're like gonna do it through our Facebook and through SoundCloud.